Have you ever suffered from such severe burnout in your jewelry or creative product business that you literally have spent years building a company and you're ready to just throw in the towel and give it all up because you're over it? Well, I get you, because I've personally been there, and so has my guest today on this episode, and I think you are going to love it. So if you are feeling overworked and underpaid and stressed out by your business and you're suffering from severe business burnout, you are going to want to watch what's next. I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish Thrive Academy, and I help overwhelmed and struggling jewelrypreneurs become in-demand designers with a little thing that I call the desired brand effect. And as someone who's been in the industry for over 25 years, having a variety of business models and getting to a place where I was severely burned out, I know how devastating this can be to a jewelry company. Because when the visionary or the owner or the founder or the creative, the designer, all of the above, loses their passion for their own company, well, if you don't fix that, you don't overcome this situation of burnout, you are ready for a huge downhill spiral. So I have a really inspiring story today. My guest on the show today is Jennifer Dawes of Jennifer Dawes Designs. She's a really established and well-known jewelry brand. She's also a friend of mine. And I've been working with her for about a year in our coaching program to help her basically overcome business burnout and simplify her business so that she could have a more profitable, more manageable business that was in alignment with what she wanted for the coming future. She was in a place where she was really struggling to be happy, even around her family, because the joy had been sucked out of her. And so she's going to talk about her journey to getting to a place where she's actually blissful, excited about her business again, simplifying her business so much that she's literally saving $18,000 a month now in overhead expenses. And I know that if you're someone who's been in that situation or you're worried about this happening to you, that you'll be inspired by this episode. Before I dive into this interview with Jennifer, I want to share with you a little bit about her brand. She is a fine jewelry designer specializing in sustainable materials. She has an amazing bridal line and an amazing ready-to-wear collection. She also offers custom jewelry, and she's sold in some of the best stores around the world. She is an inspiration to so many designers, not only in the Flourish and Thrive community, but in the jewelry community in general. She's also one of the co-founders of a nonprofit called Ethical Metalsmiths, and she's really passionate about helping inform designers in the jewelry industry to source more sustainable products. So if you haven't checked out Ethical Metalsmiths, make sure that you do that right now. All right, we're gonna dive into today's episode right now. So I'm really excited to be here with Jennifer Dawes. I've admired her work for so long, and I'm excited to hear a little bit more about her story and how her business has changed and shifted over the last year. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Tracy. It's a pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about your business and a little bit about your brand.
So I'm Jennifer Dawes. My company is Jennifer Dawes Design. I've been around and have had my brand for about 20 years. I do fine jewelry. I'm known for my eclectic style. I have many styles, but I'm known for my organic, kind of handmade aspect of my work.
Awesome. I love your designs. I think they are so beautiful. And I've been a fan of your work before I even knew you, and it's just exciting.
Oh, thank you.
It's exciting to have seen you grow over the years. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you. It's been a little overwhelming.
So I want to talk, you came to Flourish and Thrive because we were talking at an event once, and you were mentioning how you wanted to simplify your business, and you had felt like you had a strong direct-to-consumer business at a certain point, and then when Instagram algorithms changed and things were shifting in your business, you almost at a certain point couldn't keep up to a certain respect. So we were talking, and I was sharing with you a little bit about how we could help you. So before we dive into that, I want to hear from you in your own words. What are the top 3 problems that you were facing in your company before we started working together?
Well, I think that it was the scaling up. We were talking about how I grew my business. And I think that had a number of different problems. One, the first, most worst problem was probably overwhelm. So just being overwhelmed with the daily tasks of what needed to be done, overwhelmed with my staff and managing them, and just steering this ship that has been bigger than I felt very comfortable with. So the other things were, I've always, I'm an artist, and I've had to become a businesswoman just by default. I've enjoyed that part, but there are certain things that, I have, because of your program, have really addressed and acknowledged, which is my, tech phobia of, having to, there's certain things that you have to know how to do. And I feel like Flourish and Thrive has really helped me get through that minefield of how I need to adjust my business so that I can move through it easier and not be an overwhelm. And then the third thing that I really needed help with was my marketing. So you were talking about Instagram algorithms changing. So, and I think in our conversation when we first talked, we were talking about how it's not sustainable. All the things that we need to do as business people, it's insane. It's ridiculous. And we're expected to be professionals in every single realm of business. And that includes tech and marketing and sales and designing and all of it. So the program really helped me just kind of, instead of all the clutter becoming really overwhelming for me, I was able to kind of get to each piece of it that I needed to. So now I feel like, having this time with working with you and where I'm at now from where we started from, things are way more organized and put together, and I know where I stand on all of it. So it's really helped with the overwhelm of all of it.
I love that, because I think that's a common thing that a lot of people, who are artists or creative, they go into business because they are artists and they love doing their craft. And then it starts to take off because they're talented like you. And then all of a sudden they're business people and they have to learn it because they want to make money from their art. But then if you don't keep up with that, or stick up with that, or whatever I'm trying to say here, keep up with it. What ends up happening, because I know that this happened to me as well, when in my first business, and we've talked about this a lot, is that, the business kept going and it kept growing, but I didn't have the structures inside the business in order to support that growth. And so I was constantly overwhelmed and doing things that I didn't want to do, which we have to sometimes do as business owners. But the bigger issue was that I wasn't streamlining things enough so that things could grow. And so I know that was happening to you. And I want to just ask you a little bit more in depth about this, because I know this is really impacting your personal life and how you felt about your business. So I want to hear a little bit more about what were some of the struggles, because I know that it was affecting your family life and some other things. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Where to start? So when we met and had our meeting, so basically, I think what we've done with me, because I know that I'm an unusual client of yours, because I already have this, bigger business, but I think what we did is we reverse engineered the business. Don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically I was really, really unhappy. Just, I really don't like being an employer. I felt like everything was getting away from me. And so, this is such a big subject. Sorry. I'm just, it's hard for me to encapsulate it all. But, so, basically over the past year, what we've been doing is restructuring my business. So creating systems so that I'm not doing the same thing 3 times, like figuring out, making a new piece of jewelry, figuring out the pricing, putting it up on my inventory system, doing the same thing, putting it up on my Shopify site, doing the same thing with my, QuickBooks. So what we've done is really looked at the whole system and have streamlined it in such a way, because my end goal was to stop doing business as usual. So I'm all about changing the paradigm, because when I see that the paradigm doesn't work, it's time to create a new one. So that's kind of what I've been working on, is creating new paradigms. So I love to design. I love my clients. I love talking to my clients. I literally have the coolest clients on the planet. And I love to sell. I do love to sell. So so basically, it was reverse engineering the business so that I could run my business by myself, not have employees, subcontract where I can, and then streamline everything so that I can handle the majority of it. And it's been really amazing. It's been a complete 180-degree change.
That is awesome. Was this affecting the amount of time that you were able to spend with your family? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about that?
In a way, it was more of like being in joy around my family. I had so much pressure, so much financial pressure, so much personnel pressure, so much just in every single aspect. Everybody wanted a piece of me, and there just was nothing left by the end of the day for me to really be the person I needed to be for my family.
Wow, I know. I know that happens to a lot of people, because sometimes, when you're creative in particular, we show up in business a different way. And if we're not spending most of our time being creative or working in the zone of genius that we're working in, we've got nothing left to give. And so I wanted to just acknowledge that, because I've been there before too. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, and then another part of it too is this big fear of change. So, it's funny. It's I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I'm like, what is it? What was that fear? Because I'm on the other side of it now. Mm-hmm. And the difference is so extraordinary that I'm like, why did it take me so long? What was my fear? And I swear to God, I think it's codependency. Just being afraid that I can't do it all myself, and just being codependent on other people. You can cut that out.
We're going to drop you into a 12-step program now.
I know. I could be your 12-step program.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I can see how that could happen though. When you have, I felt that way. You can get into codependent relationships with employees or
easily.
Yeah. And you feel like it's almost like I've been in that place before and many times in my career. And it's hard sometimes to cut the cord for working with people who maybe who were good to get you to a certain level. And then at a certain point, maybe their attitude changed or they're out of alignment with their core values or what you stand for as a business owner. And it starts becoming this toxic almost relationship that starts eating away at you.
It just drags you down. Totally.
So I get why you would say that. I understand it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, you came to work with us and, I spoke with you a little bit about it beforehand. Did you have any hesitations in working with us or joining a program?
I think my hesitation was just how much time it would take, because I was in such overwhelm, that was a definite consideration.
Okay. So you were feeling like if you were to commit to something like this, you wouldn't have the time to actually like implement it because there was just so much to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's because you guys do expect a lot. There's different groups in which to be a part of, and they're all super important. I totally recognize that now, but I think in the beginning it's really intimidating to be like, oh my God, like I have to check in like multiple times a week and really every day. But it's also incredibly empowering because you also have this great support group too. So, but I think that that's something that is probably a fear point for new people coming in because it's a commitment, let's face it.
One of the things I love too in the group is because you would just like show up and be like, hey, here's what I'm doing and here's my wins. And like, I loved it too because like, you have definitely an established business. And so you came in and I think a lot of the designers really admired like where you've come in business. And so you were able to also add a lot of value to their situations and helping them from a different kind of perspective. And so one of my favorite parts about a program like what we've developed over here is really that it doesn't matter really what level you are. I feel like everyone's learning something from other people because you had a very strong wholesale business for a very long time. And some of the other designers have really strong retail businesses, or direct to consumer or e-commerce businesses, but not the wholesale. And so there's like a lot to be learned from different people doing different things, which I think is pretty cool.
And also tech stuff too. Like I learned so much stuff from people just trying things out, that were like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. Like I should try that too, So yeah, it was great camaraderie, really wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some of the changes and transformations that you had in your business, because I know that you worked on a couple of specific things in the program. So why don't we talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Okay, are you going to ask me or do you want me to just say it?
Let's talk about, okay. So let's talk about first, I know like one of the things we were talking about in the beginning was really your website. I remember when we were at the event in April last year, you were asking, like we were discussing like how you could streamline and we were kind of brainstorming that. So let's start with your website. Like what were some of the transformations there?
We go back to overwhelm. So, you have to redo your website every 2 years, right? 2 or 3 years, something like that. So yeah, it was time for me to do it. And then at that point, like my website had everything on it, like old work, new work. We're trying to figure out like, how do we structure it? Do we have a gallery to show my old work so that people have like a portfolio to look through so that they know, what is a possibility to make, And then the other thing too is, 20 years of making jewelry, I think I had 20 collections on the website, which is too many, So it was really just like creating a new structure and just streamlining everything and just like pushing all of the extraneous things away and really kind of honing down to the core of what it is that I do. So, and that was an interesting process because, with any big project like this, it is so overwhelming. You're like, how could I possibly do this? It's just too much. So, but what was really fun was like trying to figure out like, how do I break down my bridal lines? Because I don't have one specific style, which is, I used to think that was my biggest downfall, but I've realized that's probably one of my biggest strengths because I haven't stuck myself in a corner. I haven't had to be stuck in a certain genre. What's really fun was I figured out, okay, how am I gonna break down my bridal? So I did alternative bridal, bohemian bridal, and classic bridal. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do the ABCs of bridal. So the alternative is all the, pink diamonds. The bohemian is all the white rose cuts that are soft and beautiful. And then the classic is all full cut diamonds. So structuring the website so that you could just kind of maneuver in there better and figure it out. And, one of the things that was really fun about that too was I found a developer to help me create a little stacking ring element, like page on my site, so you could create your own stacks in there. And that was fun to bring to the group of Flourish and Thrive, because I think I turned like 5 people onto this developer, and they're all getting their websites done, and it's great. So that's also a really great aspect of it, is like sharing resources there too. So yeah, the website was really big. And then getting just honing into it, like continuing to hone into it. Like right now I'm working with my developer to have a virtual meeting. So you can just set up a meeting with me right on the website. We've got a try it on service, so we can send jewelry straight to people's homes. We've got gift cards, and like just really trying to like answer people's wants with it.
That's awesome. And I know that you kind of redesigned your custom, because you were wanting to do a little bit more custom jewelry. So why don't we talk a little bit more about what you did for the custom section of your website?
Yeah, so I do a ton of custom. So it was really good to just concentrate on that and structure that in a way so that, we structured it so that I've got forms. I've got custom forms, and there's a list of questions, and so that when I get that form, I know exactly the right questions to ask my clients. And so that process from the start of the conversation to, getting a deposit is much more streamlined and fast. And it also helps the customer know exactly what the process is, so it's less intimidating for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's really important in custom. And I know that one of the other things that you did was set up a CRM to kind of manage that. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh my God, that was huge. It was huge. Huge. Because I'm super ADD. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm an artist. So for me to get back to people, honestly, didn't trust myself to get back to people because I'm on to the next thing, right? So the CRM has been just a game changer for me, because now I'm able to communicate with my clients in a really organized fashion. I'm able to track them reading my emails. I can see who's reading them and what they're reading, and it's really helped my relationship with my customers a lot. So one of the things about streamlining my business is that, having a staff, I was less and less hands-on with my clients, and I hate that because I love my clients. They're more like friends than they are, customers. So that I've jumped back into that, and now I'm communicating with them freely, which is fantastic because it helps with closing sales. Having a CRM that actually works for you is just a huge step forward.
So how did that impact like the balance of your wholesale versus direct-to-consumer business?
Well, I actually have my CRM set up so I do have a wholesale section. So I do track my wholesale the same way that I track my retail. But now, it's just the rhythm of it is so much more smooth and flowy. So, if somebody has a question, it's just easily answered. It's on my queue to answer, instead of, looking through. I called it the trough, our pending sales. We had in a big tray, and it was the trough. And, you would get to the bottom of the trough and be like, oh my God, we didn't answer that one, So it's just like a complete game changer.
Okay, that's awesome. The trough. I was like trying not to laugh right now. The trough of orders. We had the same thing, like a tray.
Oh my God, I should show you my system now. It's amazing. It's
I'd love to see it.
I'll show you. It's basically these folders.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has a customer name, and then all of their stuff is in here, all of their jewelry. So this is all pending orders, and it's all in a vertical file. And so if it needs to go over to the design station and it needs a sketch, it goes over there. If it needs stones, it goes over to the stone station. So it's a great system. So nothing gets lost anymore.
I love that. No more trough now, filed organized in the clear. What do you call those clear paper holders? What do you call those?
They're like, I guess they're called like portfolio, like they're just like clear envelopes with the so everything just stays in there.
Cool.
You can see everything. You can see the sketches in there and the jewelry in there and everything. Because I have a lot of customers that give me old jewelry so that they can use that as credit towards their finished piece.
What else has shifted since you started working with us in your business? So, huge pivot has been this COVID thing, actually. And I have to thank you and Flourish and Thrive, because over the last year, I've been restructuring my business so that I can have it be more automated. So I've got three major things that I've been working on with Flourish and Thrive. It's my website, my CRM system, and my inventory system. So the big thing is that I needed all of these systems to be speaking to each other so that I'm not doubling, tripling, quadrupling up on the amount of work that I do. So right before the COVID thing, I had my CRM working, my website working, and now I'm in the last phase of getting my inventory system up and functioning. But what that pivot did for me was I had to let my staff go because nobody could, be here working with me. And so I've spent the last 2.5 months really honing down the systems and getting the balance of being in my studio, because I'm doing everything, but it's not overwhelming anymore. It's now a system that I just go from station to station and just get it done, and it's a much better flow. And what's been really wonderful about it is that I know exactly what's happening in my business now, where before I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just knew that shipment was late. This person, needed something, and who was going to get back in touch with them. So it's just a much more fluid, much more humane way of working. So I want to ask you another question about that. Like, how did all of those shifts and changes affect your bottom line and your profitability?
So it's huge. So my bottom line before I did this automation was about $27,000 a month just to run my business. And I reduced it down to about $8,700. So about 2/3, I reduced the cost of doing business by 2/3.
That's amazing. What was your favorite part of working with us in the program?
That was definitely one of them. My favorite part, God, that's a hard question. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to say. So working with the coaches was amazing because that was super empowering. Because you're working with professionals who know what they're doing, and when you're like stuck in a place in your business where you have no idea, what you're doing, you've got these coaches that are helping you do it. So that was one of my favorite things. And then the other favorite thing is the support group. So, you have a pod. Do you still call it a pod?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a pod of students and a mentor. And it's really great because you check in with them, daily. And, if anybody has any questions. So it's a really self-perpetuating, great way of doing it so that people can, the students can help each other out too. So it's really great for brainstorming and, just random questions too. So that was also really empowering to be a part of a group of other like-minded business designers.
I love that. Is there anything else you'd like to share with someone that might be on the fence about joining the program, or any advice that you would give to a designer who's thinking about it?
I think that, if you are struggling with your business, and if you're struggling with the business part, that this is a great program to utilize, because it's, face it, we're like, most of us are artists, and the business part, the tech part, all of that stuff is not our strength. So, being able to rely on a group of professionals who know what they're doing is invaluable. It's wonderful.
Awesome. That was amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being here with me today. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the web at www.dawes-design.com or Instagram at Jennifer Dawes Design.
Thank you for being here today, girl. I so appreciate you sharing your story with me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Wasn't that an inspiring interview with Jennifer? I just love hearing a little bit about how her business has grown. She's really talking about some personal things about how her struggles, and she was really candid in this interview. And the thing that I love the most is that she really dug in and did the work. It wasn't easy to do, but now she is so much happier. And that's what this is all about. If you are feeling overwhelmed or struggling with your sales, or want to get to a place where you're accelerating your business to the next level, you want to have more free time, you want to remove yourself from the day-to-day, we would love to help you over at Flourish Thrive Academy. We have a coaching program called the Momentum Mastermind that is helping a lot of designers up-level their business, get to a place where they're actually in love with their business again, and they're focused on doing the things that they're the best at. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs and business owners, we oftentimes try to lean into the things that we aren't good at, and we struggle instead of leaning into what we are good at and hiring out the rest or figuring out how to navigate the rest. And so I'd love to help you with that. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about how we can help you, I'd love to invite you to apply for a free business accelerator session. All you have to do is head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/strategy. And you'll see all the details on that page of how you can book a free call with our business accelerator specialist. We're going to walk you through a series of our process that we have to identify what your big picture vision is for the next 3 years. We're also going to take a look at your business now and identify some of the roadblocks that are preventing you from reaching your goals. And if it seems like a good fit, we're going to tell you a little bit more about how we can help you over at Flourish and Thrive. So head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/strategy and apply for a free business accelerator call with Natasha, our business accelerator specialist. That's all. Thank you so much for listening today. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you like this video. Tell me what your biggest takeaway was. And also make sure that you are subscribed to our channel. Thanks again, and ciao, ciao. Till next time.